If you're enjoying the way that I'm speaking about poker, teaching poker, I do have a website, charliecarrel.com. Link is in the description below. You'll find on there a mindset masterclass, which I think is the most important, teaching you how to deal with tilt, anxieties, ambition, things like that. You'll find a poker masterclass completely teaching you how to restructure the way that you think about poker. And you'll find a complete archive of the bankroll challenge. Opening 2.5x.
Might be 0 though.
I'd go a bit smaller with 10-9 suited, and nobody would ever fucking know. I'd open 2.09, and if I had ace queen, I'd be like 2.5x. Why not?
I'm doing this 37%, so I mean.
I can't really see the colors too well. Okay, we have backdoor flush draw, open ended. I'm checking this, and the reason for that is if we bet, it's such a dry board. If somebody has pocket eights, ace jack, threes, shit that just doesn't fold, we ain't gonna hear about it. The turn, let's say it's just a fucking deuce, it becomes pretty hard to play if we're up even against one person because their range suddenly gets so strong. Whereas if it checks round, we can still pretend we have aces. Fucking love it. So yeah, checking's good. Hits these guys' range relatively hard. The timing makes me think this guy's a recreational player as well. Check to us again on the ace. What are we doing? I might overbet, to be honest. No, I don't like it. I don't know. There's too many combo draws as well as ace eight, and the big blind can still have a set. I think I'll go half then. I think I'll go half. If we go half and if we go 3/4, I think everything that's going to be calling is going to call anyway. We don't need to be worried about people thinking that we're, don't have a strong hand because we're still betting into fucking 3 people on a turn that everyone can have. And we can just have ace king, ace queen, ace 10. So I like half. Seems good. All right. So that's not a flush. These colors are fucking with my head. I don't know if it's my blue light filter. It might be that. So it checks to us. What are we doing, guys? Jam. Overbet. 75. You guys are fucking mental. I don't know if you guys have ever tried making GTO players fold an ace. If you want to make them fold, you can go all in. But I'm just giving up. Give it up. Oh, no way. Beautiful. Oh, my God. This has to work so fucking often. Let me think about this for a second. So this guy, let me just get this clear. Jordan Drummond, don't know too much about him. He thinks very quickly. The fact that I think it was like 5 seconds, 4 seconds, managed to analyze the situation, realize that nobody really has ace jack. It's hard to have ace eight. He might squeeze pre, he might bet flop. He probably raises turn. Ace 3 suited. 2 combos might squeeze pre, probably check raise turn, and then there's no 3x of spades. 3x of diamonds because the 3 of diamonds is out there. So generally, people fucking capped. He thought very, very quickly there. So I'm impressed. I don't know how good he is at poker, but I'm very impressed with just like the cognitive capacity with just how quickly he came to that conclusion. Would he do that if he had pocket eights? Doesn't really matter because I imagine other people wouldn't know in this spot. That's not really a timing tell that people usually give off the fucking 3.5x into... it's close to 3, like 3.1x into 2 people. I wouldn't do it. I'm just going to say this. There's $57 out there. We're risking 182.03. I wouldn't do it. We can still feasibly have a ton of bluffs. All of our fucking queen 10s, 10-9s, and maybe something like king 10 of diamonds, shit like that. I assume people wouldn't expect us to do it with king 10 of diamonds, but we don't know how good they are at poker. And trying to make people fold top pair is definitely fucking hard. However, if he's going to try and make him fold top pair, I really like this size, So I think, stay for his explanation, fair enough. So I think I'm down. I think, I wouldn't do it. And I'm pretty fucking mental. But I think I'm down. If you're going to bet, you go this size.
That's not good.
What's not good? It's tanking, dude.
I didn't think this guy was going to be in the tank. Woo!
Man,
Woo!
that's a good spot for them to tie back.
The tank made me a little nervous, ladies and gentlemen.
It's an odd time to get nervous.
So I think that the button here has a 0% check on the nuts. Yeah. So the button might have ace jack specifically.
No, I bet that, bro.
I don't really think the button's checking back ace jack either. The button could have ace 8. The button could have ace 3 suited.
Yeah.
So we're looking at like ace 8 suited, ace 3 suited, so 5 combos.
Yeah.
If they don't squeeze it all pre-flop. Big blind's probably in a similar situation. I think ace jack's gonna squeeze. Actually, big blind's in a worse situation. I think ace jack's gonna squeeze a lot. Like ace jack suited's gonna on the turn. I mean, not free. I think ace jack suited's gonna squeeze the turn. I think sets will squeeze the turn. I think ace 8 is gonna squeeze the turn. I think ace 3's maybe gonna call. So ace 3 might call. And we're still looking at like 87% folds, 13%. Yeah, like they can't 90% fold each, which means they each have to defend more than 10% of their range on this situation. Like if we distribute the math evenly, and 10% of the range is just like I don't think people can do that in this. Like I think most humans like are gonna struggle. I don't think they're gonna be able to understand their range properly, and it's just so easy to just take out. So I check twice here. I mean, I have the suits for it.
Yeah, it's an interesting analysis. I will like it sounds, and it's a very rational. It's a very rational analysis, but in the end, he's just using his intuition. Like no rational brain can calculate what 10% of their range is, especially in fucking 5 seconds. But I like it. I like his intuition. I like the chutzpah. Yeah, I think it's good. There's only really 4 combos, and none of the hands play him 100%, as far as I'm aware. So you're only really looking at like 2 combos each, probably. So yeah, it might be way better than check. However, that's now assuming that nobody fucking just calls ace 5, being like, "Hey, unblock his bluffs," you know. And also might not be. We're assuming that somebody isn't going to be a recreational player and just be like, you know. General assessment of 200 Zoom pool: people don't bluff. It's really fucking hard to find people that bluff. I have to search far and wide to find any professional poker players that bluff. I see Michael Adamo bluffing. I played Linus Love this morning. I see him bluffing, and I was ecstatic that he turned up with some bluffs that other people don't turn up with. There's a couple in the 500 Zoom pool, and I'm like, you like to bluff, and I respect that. Doug Polk, another bluffer. Fucking love bluffing, doesn't he? And I'd say yours truly. I would say I go a bit OTT in most spots. Other than like 12 people 12 people in the world that are like good professionals, everybody just underbluffs. And we're also in a phase of poker, and everything kind of has trends that ebb and flow. We're in a phase of poker where everyone's overcalling most things as well. I played some 2K now heads up against Linus. So I guess bluff and fold rivers there. No, don't bluff. Don't bluff. That's the thing. You want to be bluffing in some spots. Like, let's say we open button, big blind defends, flops like queen 8-3, check, turns like a 6, big blind checks. We want to be way over bluffing. We want to be way over bluffing because people play pretty face up in those kind of spots. However, if we then bet turn like 2x pot and they call, that's when we stop bluffing again, because everyone they get it in their minds that, oh, this is a good hand to call, so I'll just call fucking any size, any street, whatever. And they're like, this is a bad hand to call, so I'll just fold any size on any street. That's a simplified version. You have to understand the nuance of the game to know how other people are going to be thinking about it. But in general, we're at a stage of life where people are really overcalling, especially rivers, and overfolding in some very specific spots, and nobody fucking bluffs.
It's just so easy to just bitch out. So I check twice here. I mean, I have the suits for it. I have aces. I wouldn't check twice here too much with some of the other overpairs, but
I like it.
This is a decent one for checking twice with.
And check. Oh, no, got a bet. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see that.
Obviously, we're going to squeeze.
Against a very good player, it kind of sucks to bet here because we don't really have any 8x apart from pocket 8s. And, you know, obviously we can have clubs, and having the ace of clubs makes it a theoretical bet, I'm sure. Against a good player, I feel like we just get wrecked here. If we go this size, I feel like a really good player would just shove a bunch with nothing.
Obviously, we're going to squeeze.
Love it.
These ranges are actually both pretty strong here.
Oh, wait. I thought we were suited. No, check.
Relatively high frequency check, but I rolled a 96, so...
Oh, man, you can't roll a 96 and bet. How... I'm about to explain this to a GTO player, so please forgive me. I have Tons of humility for how you guys think and act. How often is this exact spot going to come up with this guy, who, let's just be honest, judging by the photo, is going to be at best an American reg. No offense, America. And this guy, who didn't 3-bet out of mid-position, which already hugely increases the chances he's a recreational player, and I don't recognize his name. How often is this situation going to be coming up against them? Fucking never. And even if it did come up, or a similar kind of situation, are they going to know about what your strategy is? And are they going to be able to exploit it? You need a fucking ton of presuppositions to be able to look at this and say, I'm going to randomize. Because if you're randomizing, you're saying, I don't know what's highest EV, either betting or checking. I'm not going to use my brain. I'm going to say they're equal, because that's what game theory says. It doesn't mind if you bet a third, or it doesn't mind if you check. It doesn't mind if you bet whatever. I'm going to randomize, so I'm unexploitable. It just doesn't make any sense. In this exact spot, it's such a good illustrative example of why randomizing is just so silly. If you think betting a third's good, which in this situation, fucking fine, love it. We got some ace-10, we got some overpairs. You know, it's pretty likely they're going to miss the board. This guy might even fold 8s to a single bet, which means we're just going to be fucking printing. Nobody's going to be floating like Jack 9 of hearts or Queen Jack of hearts. Fucking printing. So 100% okay with a c-bet, but don't do it because the randomizer says so. Don't do it. It doesn't make any sense, and it falls into this mindset of a game theory player saying like, oh, I need to be balanced, I need to be unexploitable, or whatever. But when you're playing 200 Zoom, you just don't. You got to be finding the highest EV for your hand, and if they start exploiting you, well, they'll be the first ever 200 Zoom player to exploit you in this kind of situation.
Don't think there's room for large betting. Multi-way. Definitely not betting range here. Not even betting close to range. Not even betting this the majority of the time, but I rolled a fucking 96. You can see the 96 right there. It's like, all right, I don't really want to bet, actually. Like, I raise, like, I 3-bet.
Do you agree randomizing if EV is the same? Nah. I'll agree randomizing if it's one of those situations where you're like, I think it's close, and sometimes I'll do this, sometimes I'll do that, and you're playing against a really fucking good player. But in these kind of situations, nah. Just try and work out which one. Like, the EV's never actually going to be the same. Like, even if game theory is going to tell you, or the solver's going to tell you that EV is the same between betting and checking, it's never actually in real life going to be the same. Reality is going to dictate some psychological or emotional or like playing proclivities of these recreational players, or bad regs, or no offense to these guys, they might be great, but I don't think so. And there's going to be a highest EV, even if it's just that much bigger or that much bigger or this much bigger. There's going to be a highest EV, so just try and figure it out. Stop trying to randomize it.
I think I'm +1. I get called twice. Like, I just want to check, but I do think that this hand should bet a little bit.
So it seems
low, but I don't think it's
my prognosis of him seems to be like he's a really smart dude, very GTO oriented, which was our read beforehand, which is nice, and. Yeah, he seems like somebody that you'd want to learn from if you're a game theory player. So, shout out to this guy.
This is going to be our first randomizer. We didn't use it because I think this is pure 3-bet.
Is he a 200 Zoom player? Because I don't feel like I've seen him. I feel like he's a tournament player, right? I think I played against him.
That's my normal sizing choice.
Personally, I'm going for a third here. And the reason for that is that you got to split his range into stuff that's like 10x or above, and flush draws and straight draws, which are going to pretty much call any size unless you like overbet or something, and flush draws, and then there's going to be pocket pairs and some suit connectors, just like fucking 9-8 of hearts, 7-8 of hearts, that are going to be just folding to whatever size you go. So as a bluff, I'm generally going to be going a third, and then deciding on turns whether we want to try and fold out more, or whether we want to bet to try and fold out a 10 and check back ace high and win against some spade combos, or win against ace jack or something like that. There's a bunch of different strategies you can have, but in general, if I have aces here, I'm going 78% pot probably, and if I have ace king, I'm just going a third. And if anyone wants to try and memorize that and exploit me, have at it. Come at me.
Some larger betting. It's always safe to just stick to the small bet size because that's clean. Especially for me in this format.
It's an interesting statement. It's always safe to stick to the small bet size because it's clean. I think that's a GTO player saying that he wants to kind of like simplify the game tree. I think that's what he's saying.
Trying to change that, but all right. I think I'm going to play a couple more hands here, and then I'm going to explain that 10-9 suited, and I'm going to kill it. 53. So it's kind of like what
always 4-bet this
base case. I think my base case is 4-bet, and then my mix is flat. So I think I would have flatted like 0 to 30, and then 4-bet the rest.
Yeah,
like
but this is a random guy that's only 3-bet to 20 from 5. Probably a recreational player, so probably weighted towards better hands, and you want to 4-bet.
Yeah, I don't know the exact weight here because I'm not a cash game rig, but something along those lines seems reasonable. All right, guys, what do you think? What do we run it? So we're a big favorite, 65% right there. Here we go. Let's hold. Take a 4. Take a 4.
Too greedy. You're asking for the 4, mate.
Oh,
you
well,
can't ask for the 4. You gotta ask for the offsuit deuce.
All right, guys, I'm gonna give you a super quick explanation of what these charts are. So we can pick one of a huge number of situations. We've got spin and goes, we've got ICM final tables that you can choose from, but we're just gonna pick a generic.
Man, so this is what I'm up against. This shit right here is what I'm playing against when I'm playing like 500 zoom, or I play high stakes spin and goes, or I'm playing like heads up. Other people are doing this. That's why I've never seen this in my life. I've never looked at a chart like this. So it tells you, I assume this is for tournaments, it tells you what to do in each position with all of your different hands. Holy shit. I mean, it feels a bit like when you're in school and you're taking like a music class. And the teacher's like, well, you have to go chord 1, that's like home. Then you venture up to chord 4, you're like, ooh, and chord 5, and then maybe chord 6, and then you go back to chord 1. And it just like quells creativity. It quashes any kind of genius spark that people have. And it doesn't allow people to think for themselves. And I feel really similar about this. Now, maybe if you're the kind of person that's already played for many, many, many years, you've already got an intuition, you're like, I want to check how I play versus how these plays. Or maybe you just want a little bit of direction. I'm open to this. So in fact, I'll let this guy's ad play for him, and just so, you know, if anyone is interested, go check out BBZPoker. Personally, I've never looked at one of these in my life. I wouldn't recommend my students to until maybe they hit a very, very high level point, and then they can start looking at this. But always take into consideration that every spot you're going to come up with, or almost every spot, is going to be so unique. You need to have that toolkit inside of your mind that says, I'm going to do this because of this and this and this and this. You know, you want to know what's roughly okay, but at the same time, you don't want to know exactly, because then you're just taking away the chance of being able to think for yourself. You have to, at the early stages of your poker career, make all the mistakes. You have to be sitting there saying, oh, I don't really know what to do. Do I 4-bet? Do I call? If you just have a chart telling you what to fucking do during the game, which, oh man, people probably just have this during the games, don't they? That's so gross. If you have a chart telling you what to do during the game, fuck off. You know, you're dead. You're brain dead from day one. You're just repeating and rinsing exactly what the chart's been telling you to do, and you're not going to be able to get really fucking good at poker. All in all, I rate this guy pretty fucking high. I would say that perhaps if you want to get a balance of, you know, how I think and how I play versus how other people play, this might be a good place to go. He seems to be on the ball, seems to be very intelligent, seems to be very game theory oriented, and I'm sure he can probably teach you how to play some fucking tournaments. So, shout out to this guy. I feel like he's definitely going to be missing a ton of value if he's playing these 200s, if he's playing high stakes tournaments even. He's, by doing all of this randomizing and doing all of this, you know, game theory oriented approach of, you know, letting computers randomly tell you how to play, he's going to be missing out on a bunch of value. I'm just going to say that with absolute certainty. However, it's going to make him less exploitable. So that's his choice. You guys can choose how you want to play. Do you want to play unexploitably, or do you want to have fun in life?